imagine robots judging you, your mother, or your sister's performance and having a bias against them? What about an online chatbot being sexist? The linkage between these two scenarios is they're both connected to gender-biased AI. Thank you so much to the committee, judges, and all finalists for your amazing effort to make this happen. I'm Grace Chenxin Liu from New York. My topic is understanding the impact of AI through the gender digital divide and its indicators. From assisted online shopping to Face ID and much more, AI has been transforming our lives dramatically. Gender-biased AI not only has immense impacts on us, but also can contribute to setbacks in gender equality. After reading through hundreds of existing pieces of literature, I found a lack of research into this issue. I argue that examining AI's impact from the gender perspective should be one of the most important AI studies. I'd like to elaborate on 3 points: why, how, and what. First, why is this important? Research indicates that gender bias is generally found in AI datasets. Algorithms and devices can spread and worsen harmful gender stereotypes. This risks further marginalizing females in all economic, political, and social fields. Second, how could this happen? Though it sounds like AI machines have a mind of their own, data for training AI represents our behaviors as humans, so it reflects exactly this. In many cases, AI applications that we use are propagating gender norms. Third, what can be done? My proposal is to review the current status and impacts in assessing the gender digital divide. This will help design a series of measurable AI-related gender indicators as a way of evaluating positive and negative AI impacts. I'd like to mention that since 2021, I've been involved in a research project on the future impact of AI. Also, as the founder of Sharing to Empower and a member of 1,000 Girls, 1,000 Futures, which is a global program by the New York Academy of Sciences, I've disseminated my initial findings among different audiences and received praise globally. Actually, I was recently invited to TEDx Deer Park to talk about my experience. That'll take place on April 16th. So basically, I believe that my proposed research will help in better understanding AI's future and its impacts on humankind. This will further help establish a whole new society view and map the broader goals we seek in the future of AI gender equality. Now, I'm standing here today because I'd like to share my voice so that more young people can join me to advocate for this. I remember that Michelle Obama said, "There's power in allowing yourself to be known and heard, in using your authentic voice." So I'd like to ask our audience to advocate for AI gender equality, even by doing something small, like raising your voice, supporting one another, or getting involved in our local community. Finally, through this challenge, I've learned so much. Most importantly, we're all here together to express our views and suggest creative solutions regarding AI and its future impact for human beings. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Grace. That was a wonderful presentation. At this time, your first question will be addressed to you by Ms. Kelly Schultz. The floor is yours, Kelly.
Good morning. Thank you. That was a fantastic presentation, Grace. Well done.
Thank you so much.
I was very impressed by your passion and commitment to this particular lens on AI. And one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, how did this become a passion for you? You're involved extracurricular in the gender equity through the AI, and I just wanted to know how this became a personal passion for you.
Thank you so much. That's a great question. Well, my passion for gender issues really started 3 years ago. I started doing research on the gender perspective of fencing issues since I started fencing class like 3 years ago. And my research ended up being presented at multiple global conferences, which really gave me the confidence and even greater interest in gender issues. So as a follow-up to this, since February 2021, like I mentioned in my presentation, I've been involved in a research project on the future scenarios and impact of AI. So this really triggered my interest and passion to study this issue of understanding the impact of AI through the gender digital divide and its indicators. Essentially, I'd say that my previous research experience into the topics of gender and AI issues really inspired me to write this essay and really triggered my passion for researching these issues. So thank you so much for your question.
Thank you, and thank you for the great work you're doing in this space. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I share that feeling. Thank you. And our second question for Ms. Liu will be from Professor Bo Chen. Professor Chen, the floor is yours.
I think it's a great presentation.
Thank you.
Sounds like you've well prepared for the gender equality or inequality research in AI. So I'm just wondering, could you please elaborate one possible or one efficient method that can help us to reduce the gender inequality in AI?
Thank you so much for your question, Professor. I think that's an awesome question. Well, like I mentioned in my presentation, I believe that really researching and establishing frameworks or indicators for the gender digital divide and the impacts of AI is really, really important in research because it helps us, as a whole, everyone globally, to plan out future actions that we can take in solving this issue. So I think an example of such an indicator could be the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. I think those are amazing indicators, like the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. I'm sure that the United Nations and its agencies have been doing related research on the digital divide. So yeah, thank you so much for your question.
Thank you.